friends, welcome back to another week of tarot, oracle, and intuitive readings. I am here with your weekly reading for the week of October 10th. We've got a full moon coming up on October 20th. I've got some things that are already coming through intuitively, things that I'm working with for myself. There's like multi-layer things happening with me, dealing with my inner child, my purpose, and quite honestly, the way that I allow things or invite things to leave my life. And I know that's a weird thing to talk about, but that's where I am energetically, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Like, there's so much that I'm looking at. I'm finally seeing a bit of the big picture of my own purpose. So that's what's going on with me. I hope you all are having your own wonderful insights. I've been talking to a couple of you all via Instagram, text, chat, email, about some of the things that you're experiencing in your life. And you know, I love having those conversations because it opens the dialogue, right? It opens the dialogue and it opens up a level of curiosity that I think wakes up and energizes the inner child and the purpose, the inner purpose of life. So with that said, let's go ahead and get a reading for this week. I will likely not only do a check-in at some point this week, an intuitive monthly check-in, but also next week coming up will be again, that full moon reading. And I think the full moon, with the energies that are going on now, I finally am understanding, you know, there is chaos coming through. I've just looked into the asteroid Eris, Eris, of actually the goddess Eris, who is the god of chaos, the god of discord, goddess of discord, goddess of chaos. And, you know, I don't know where you often find the most chaos in your life, but it's probably really, I know it'd probably be interesting to see where Eris falls in your astrology chart. But finding out about Eris, and most of us, well, pretty much all of us alive right now, were born with Eris in Aries. So Eris in a fire sign, the goddess of chaos, but the goddess of chaos as the source of creation. So the chaos that is in your life at this moment, are you allowing it to create? Are you allowing it to create are you allowing chaos? One, which, you know, everyone hears chaos and it's like, what? Chaos? Who wants that? But chaos leads to creation. Chaos leads to newness. What else? There was something else. And I find it interesting too that the goddess Eris, I also believe, is connected with the journey of Persephone from the upper world to the lower world. And I know I've talked about that journey before and the changing of the season and all that good stuff. But again, I'm just, you know, restating something that I think I said last week was, this is indicative of, I'm getting the sense that this is more like the creation that comes out of chaos. Inanna's, you know, so there's Persephone kind of like conjunct with Persephone's, Persephone's journey to the underworld is sometimes also likened to Inanna's descent into the underworld, the goddess Inanna. And that's, Inanna is a Mesopotamian goddess who descended into the underworld, into her sister's kingdom, and was basically rescued by her clerics, who, went and said some words over her lifeless body and took her out of the underworld alive, which had never happened before. And so on the way down into the underworld, Inanna shed pretty much every part of herself. And that's when I talked about the dark night of the soul. When last week, again, I talked about the dark night of the soul, and there was this idea that we are stripped of every safety that we believe that we have. So the safety that we have in maybe the safety that we have, safety and security that we have in our way of speaking, our way of communicating, the safety that we think we have or are protected by, when we think about certain relationships. There's this idea that, Inanna's descent pushed her into a dark night of the soul. All of her protections, all of the things that she thought she was safe from were introduced into her life by the removal of her clothing, her necklaces, her jewelry, her near immortal status as a goddess. She was stripped of everything. But now we understand she is, there's this sense that she's emerging from that stronger. Because when we understand that chaos, right? Chaos can bring that dark night of the soul. We understand, once we've gotten past that we are not untouchable, but we're not putting our strength and protection in something that is outside of who we are and our own spirit. So I'll say that, and I'm going to keep going because I know I've taken up about almost 9 minutes talking about that. So let's go. Let's get into this reading for the week. I want to, where is it? I don't know where. Okay. Let's get out a, let's see. I wanted to pull, okay. So I'm going to use the Wild Unknown Archetypes to get an idea of what this reading might be about today. So I'm going to call on my divine masters and teachers to come into this reading with a message for those who are watching. And give us an idea as to what this reading might be about. And I'll read it all at the end. Let's see. Thank you, Spirit. Ooh, wow. All right. The crone and the siren. Wow. And I can already tell what this is going to be about. So, the crone, often associated with Hecate, and I also see the crone as the wisdom, the feminine wisdom. There's also the siren, and I think the siren is the guide that leads us to, so I see the siren, right? And I understand that there's an archetypal meaning to it, but intuitively, I feel as if it's not so much a conflict, but we can either be led by wisdom or led by a siren song that offers no substance, but only guides us to certain or near destruction. So it could be one of these two applies to you in this reading. Or, you know, again, if that is if that resonates with you. Yeah, that's the word. Okay. So I'm going to use the Wild Unknown Tarot since we've gone ahead and used the Wild Unknown archetype. Let's do this. I call on my divine masters and teachers to come into this reading with a message for the week of October 10th, 2021. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Spirit. Okay. Ooh, okay. I don't even know what that is, but take a look at it when get some more cards out. You want me to take that one? Okay. Nice. The Fool card. That's it. Oh, you all. Alright, these came out. These, I think, were... I'm just going to keep going. Okay. Alright. This came out in reverse. It jumped out in reverse. God. Ugh. Y'all, I don't like reading in reverse, but I want to see what this reversal might bring if the message is at all any different. So let's see. This came out in reverse. It's the Three of Cups in reverse. Then we have the Fool card, which is also associated with the planet Uranus, which is, I believe, coming back out of retrograde pretty soon. I'm going to double check that. We've got the Sun card, which is we've got a lot of major arcana out here. Let's just put it that way. And then we've got the Hermit card as the final card out. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. Three of Cups. Right side up, the Three of Cups. You know what? Let me do this real quick because I'm seeing great wisdom here and great growth. And I'm seeing a new, like a completely unburdened new journey. But, so the Three of Cups indicates to me a celebration. The Three of Cups, now, of course, this could have so many meanings. So I'm giving the meanings first, and I'm going to talk about what I feel intuitively about the card. So Three of Cups upright is typically about a celebration, a gathering of friends, a party. In some spaces, it could also indicate polyamory or multiple relationships. In the reverse, intuitively, I sense that a partnership might be coming apart. The cups have spilled over. Things have spilled over. It could be that there's a misappropriation of feelings that causes this upset, or maybe it's just time for it to be over. Then the Fool card comes in, right? Now, this could mean that somehow I sense that this is someone either venturing out on their own, like completely unburdened on their own, but there also could be that there is this introduction of a child. Like when I say introduction of a child, welcoming a child in. And, you know, I feel like I've had, this experience of, when I was in my 20s and, all my friends were getting married and having kids and, doing all this stuff. And I was just like, okay, like, I'm not quite sure where I fit in here. And I don't really, like, personally, I didn't have kids. And at the time I was just like, okay, I still had no clue about, whether or not that's what I wanted on my path. So, a lot of times when my kids had friends, I just didn't know how to make space. Like, I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't quite sure where I fit, if that makes sense. But, and this could be several ways, but I do sense this is the beginning of a new path, because this is the Fool card. This is the new journey. This is a new journey in the entire tarot. This is the 0 card. You're starting at 0. Excuse me. And this is, could also be that this is a combination of masculine and feminine, which could, again, produce a child. But I don't want that to be I don't want that to sound predictive. It's just a sense that something new is coming in to start a journey. If it's you, it could be a new sense of self. Like, and I don't know if I talked previously about like my own inner child work. Maybe your inner child work has come up and you're working on that and you find that it is unfettered and you are able to move forward in that sense. And with that comes happiness and clarity and all the stuff that you've been looking for. Or maybe even you're shining the light on things you had never considered in your past, or things that are in your present. Maybe you're even seeing a new path forward. You're with clarity and happiness, really happy about moving forward into the future. And like I see this because the sun, the sun is happiness, the sun is clarity. I mostly see the sign as the sun is associated with the sign of Leo. So you could be dealing with a Leo in your life, if that's the case. But I also look at this card and I look at the Hermit card and I see that this path of happiness is in this point of light on the turtle in this Hermit card. It could be leading you into further introspection, further education even. There is a sense of the unknown in this card. The Hermit card, every time I see the Hermit card, yes, I think an educator, I think a mentor, I think a guide. You could be connecting with your own spirit guides, your own spirit, your own inner knowledge. And that's always, the most confident part of moving in any spiritual direction is understanding, I move inwardly in order to maintain my own sense of confidence and competence, right? That's what I see in this Hermit card, is delving to uncover confidence and competence. I was trying to think, like I'd seen something recently about how we find information for ourselves. And there is so much information going around today, and so much misinformation, that I believe doing this internal work, right, on your own, in yourself, is what is going to make this new world come forward. There is, we can still have the relationships that we have, right? But it's almost as if this card, now that I'm seeing it, this card means cutting out superficial relationships, cutting out superficial connections. That's now that I'm getting into the reading, that's what I see in this card. There is a release of superficiality, things that are on the surface, like relationships that are just surface level things. And it could be that you are letting go of your own superficialities and getting real and getting authentic. And because you're getting rid of those superficialities, right, that's where the Fool card comes in. That's where this new beginning comes in. This newness of beginning comes in. Yeah. And so I see the crone here as if we don't drop the superficialities and we completely skip this over, you know, if we do any kind of spiritual bypassing, right, which means not doing the work, not recognizing, not meditating, not journaling, not taking time for ourselves, not, you know, connecting with our ancestors, that kind of thing. If we don't do the work and we don't drop the superficialities, I can see where you could head into this siren energy where you're like, oh, you know, life is just going to do its thing, right? And, you know, you get to down this path and you find out it was just a siren song. You were just hearing something in the distance and you went toward it without actually doing this spiritual work, right? Without uncluttering and unblocking your own path, to, you know, taking baggage, unnecessary baggage off of you in order to make this journey, right? Because the Fool, if we think about it, the Fool is the journey, you know, and I want to bring out my helper card because I want to get into the meaning of the Fool so that you understand really what this journey means, what the Fool card means. Okay, yes, Fool card, Uranus. Breaking rigid psychic rules, beginner's mind, and, you know, for health reasons, you have good health, but there could be some accidents, so be careful there. The Sun and the Hermit. If you do the work, you get into this crone energy, which is great because I always associate the Hermit card with the crone. The crone is wisdom. The crone is what we've learned. The crone is finally moving into a space of complete self-acceptance and complete acceptance of our wisdom and our own education. So let's go ahead, you know, and all right. So and then the Eight of Pentacles, I'm skipping. The Eight of Pentacles is all about making sure that this becomes a normal pattern of ours, to continue going through these cycles. And I think the Eight of Pentacles came up in last week's reading too, is looking at patterns that don't work for us and patterns that do work for us, and putting the energy toward the patterns that do work. Because when we recreate, like you see the spider here, recreating these rounds over and over again to create a web, when we recreate what works, we get a bigger picture of something that helps manifest the things that we actually want and need spiritually, right? But of course, even though Pentacles is about the earth, working with the patterns of the earth, working with things that are resources, things that provide us, you know, paying for food or things like that. But I think this is also a reconnection with our own nature and reconnection with the earth. Good patterns, being good ancestors even. And that's probably a good place to start. Good ancestors. Layla F. Saad is a really great writer that you should definitely check out. So let me go ahead and read the crone. XII. The crone. The witch. The old woman. the sage. The crone has seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. She is the final manifestation in the feminine trifecta of maiden mother crone. In her long life, she's witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration, giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. She laughs at notions of good or bad, right or wrong, as she has seen the earth churning, smoldering, taking life and giving life. The crone energy accepts everything in, devouring beauty and suffering with the same mouth, using their energy to reveal hidden secrets and knowledge. Her energy resides in all of us, though it is feared by most for its power and unconventional relationship with death and the macabre. Awakening the crone is dangerously rich and unapologetically magic. When light, this is magic, clairvoyance, psychic, intuitiveness, and wisdom. When dark, it is vindictive, bitter, isolated, and ostracized. To go deeper, read Dhumavati. Read more about Dhumavati, Hecate. I think it's Hecate. Hecate? Yes. I'll double check. Baba Yaga and Lilith. And those are all some of my favorites. I love the crone energy. I feel like that's just my chart, my birth chart. The crone has a difficult time tolerating superficial, right, petty, day-to-day musings. She moves away from such relationships and seeks a deeper path, even if this means a more solitary life. The crone is the master of letting go and residing in what is. She rejects nothing. The crone is often seen with the crow, smoke, night, and the moon. So let's take a look at the siren. The siren, the temptress, the seducer, the femme fatale. The siren calls and the world spins. What we thought we wanted pales in comparison to the sweet allure of her song. We find ourselves lost in a spell of desire and longing, perhaps even lust. Whether the thing calling to us is ultimately good or bad is somewhat irrelevant. It's the journey that matters. And the work of the siren is to take us on a deep psychic descent. Ooh, descent. Following her song, we go down, 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 to a place where lessons are learned and courage must be rallied to find our way back to dry land. Yeah, the siren is the dark night of the soul. Try as we might, resisting the call may not even be an option, unless, like Odysseus, we bind our hands to the mast of our ship. It's likely, though, that falling for her call is the only way we will come to live more fully on the surface. So this is interesting, because this is like almost a three-part. We're dropping superficiality in order to come to a more authentic surface. Come back to. So in one place we're going deeper, and we're getting into wisdom, and we're getting into psychic spaces, and we're moving into a darker space. We're moving into shadow. We're moving into the underworld. And that may sound scary when you think about it in patriarchal terms that had us scared of, sometimes, and I know a lot of my watchers are women, but there could also be men who were taught to fear their feminine side, fear their wild feminine, fear the depths of the darkness, because apparently that was bad. That was the bad place, and we were supposed to be good. We need to drop superficialities, drop toxic connections to surface things. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. When the siren is in its light, this is awakened sensuality, absorption, and arousal. When it's dark, this is wickedness, adultery, wreckage, betrayal, and insatiability. To go deeper, look, I think that's J.W. Waterhouse's Nymph paintings and Lana Del Rey's album Ultraviolence. Other iterations of the siren archetype include the nymph, the mermaid, and the fairy. They often come in sets of 3 as a trinity of temptation. Embodying the siren archetype requires that we explore things that are taboo. The siren laughs at conventions and constraints. She eats rules. So here you have two very controversial archetypes of feminine. One who laughs at good and bad, eats beauty and death with the same mouth. And then you've got one who is the temptress, the one who goes and discovers, laughs at taboos, eats your rules. This is the feminine coming back. This is the feminine coming back into this world. And this little reading right here. But that is also your reading for the week. I would love to connect. If you have any other questions or want to, add more discussion into, you can email me or send me a message on Instagram. I promise I will get more active on Instagram. I just haven't had the emotional and mental capacity to do so. But I look forward to talking to you all midweek. And doing the full moon reading for October 20th. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week.